Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your April 2020 general readings. We're looking at the first half of April from the 1st through the 15th. Welcome everyone, newcomers, first timers, welcome back followers and subscribers. As always, thank you for all that you do in support of this channel, your likes, shares, subscribes, feedback, and comments. Always welcome and appreciated. So this reading is for the fire sign of Leo for the first half of April 2020. That's Leo sun, moon, rising if your Venus is in Leo, or if you're cross-watching for a Leo as well. I strongly advise you watch all of your sign videos if you know them and if you can. General readings always resonate a little differently for everyone, so watching your other signs can kind of bring more pieces together of what's going on in your life and provide more clarification. So do that if you can. If any of these videos do resonate with you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading, you can click on the description link below for more info and contact details. Click on that little arrow. And you can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do offer a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. Excuse me. And I do readings full time. So I'm pretty diligent at working with everyone's schedules to get readings out to you or scheduled with you as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, send me an email and we'll go from there. Okay, Leo, our lovely lions. Let's see what the first half of March has in store for you. I am continuing to use my relatively new deck that I've fallen in love with, Legacy of the Divine Tarot by artist Ciro Marchetti. And I'm eagerly awaiting his updated deck of the Gilded Tarot Deluxe, which comes out in another month. I've already pre-ordered it. Okay, Leo. Okay, Leo, we begin with the King of Swords, followed by the Ten of Wands. We have the Four of Cups, followed by the Hanging Man. And from the bottom of the deck, overall energy for the first half of April is the Three of Cups. It's interesting, Leo, that the Three of Cups is your overall energy for the first half of April, because there's such a strong sort of social party energy, being out, enjoying yourself, celebrating, particularly with people that you feel very good with, very connected with, because this card can represent having a good time with best friends, kindred spirits, your tribe, positive social connections in your community. Definitely a high social energy here. But the interesting thing is that it looks like and feels like there's a lot going on under the surface. It's kind of like on top, we're going out, we're having a good time. You might be getting away for a while with friends, family, or, engaging in a lot of social activities or social energy. But it feels like there's a lot kind of going on under the surface. We have the King of Swords, followed by the Ten of Wands. So kings and queens in the tarot represent individuals who have reached a point of self-mastery, self-control, discipline, balance with the character traits inherent to their suit. So the King of Swords is air energy, and this is mental energy. So the King of Swords is master of his own thoughts. This is someone who is probably a very good communicator, good with his words, good with his speech. He's a master at that. Truth, insight, wisdom, intellect, knowledge. He's a very fair and just person. He can be sociable and a loving, nurturing person, but he often comes across as very cool and reserved. This is a person who will almost always, if not always, make a decision that's in that from a place of logic and practicality, even if the decision he has to make breaks his heart a little bit. This is a card about mind over the emotions, not necessarily mind against the emotions or intellect against the emotions. Sometimes it can be, but the King of Swords represents somebody who will, even at the cost of his own emotions, make a decision he feels is best and most practical. Now, what clarifies it is the Ten of Wands, which is a card of burdens, but it can also be a card of, but tens can also represent cycle endings in the tarot, cycle fulfillment. It usually represents the absolute fulfillment of the energy of that suit. Wands is governed by the element of fire. So the suit of wands is all about, it's passionate energy, creativity, artistic energy, change, movement, action, forward moving stuff. So the Ten of Wands actually can represent reaching a place where you feel very burdened and overwhelmed, feeling in over your head, like everything has become so much of a burden. Tens can represent both the good and bad of what having too much of something in a particular suit can represent. So this represents feeling, perhaps burdened and overwhelmed, tired, exhausted from the efforts you've put into dealing with something, carrying something, struggling with something. This could be an actual cross you've had to bear, a problem you've been dealing with, some kind of project or person or relationship or job that you've been putting a lot of effort into for a long time. So for some of you, this King of Swords can represent another individual here. It might be an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I actually feel like it may be somebody that you're involved with, maybe in a romantic or a work sense. The King of Swords can be a rather difficult person to be involved with on a romantic level. Being involved with someone who's always kind of holding up his sword. Kings can sometimes also represent endings in the sense that they have reached a point of maturity and balance and evolution in the knowledge and growth through their suit, that they're able to provide an ending to something or cut off something because, for the King of Swords, because it makes sense, even if it hurts. Because something is obviously being quite a weight for you. And for some of you, it might be about this King of Swords person. But for a lot of you, I feel like you are being called here to make a decision in a situation, make a decision based more on logic and what you see as truth and reality in the situation rather than what your emotions or your heart might tell you, because it might be telling you something different, because it could be your emotional investment in something is what's gotten you to this place of, I feel like I can't do this anymore. This has become so heavy. And it may be that you need to cut something out too, because kings are able to do that, queens are as well, but kings are really able to do that, particularly the King of Swords. He's the King of Swords. He has the weapon to do it with, the intellect as well. And the Ten of Wands represents that this burden is at an end. It needs to come to an end too. Actually, the Ten of Wands in this deck versus the Gilded Tarot deck I was using, the other deck showed the man with the bundle of wands on his back, standing up. He's kind of hunched over because it's so heavy he can't stand up straight, but he's still able to, kind of walk and stumble forward. In this deck, it's more extreme. This man is still successfully carrying these wands on his back, but they're so heavy he can't even kneel. He's on his belly. He's crawling every last inch to try and get to where he wants to go, if it's even still possible with this weight of wands on his back. So something definitely, a decision needs to be made to bring this to an end, either change it and transform it or bring it to an end, cut whatever you need out. And that decision needs to be made from a place of logic, looking at something and for the reality of what it is and making a decision based on that. But it looks like on the surface, you're kind of going out and having a good time, being social and stuff. All of this stuff feels like a very strong undercurrent. Next, we have the Four of Cups, with the Hanging there. both of these cards together have this sense of waiting and considering something. The Four of Cups shows a man who has 3 goblets next to him, full upright, which implies that what he does have is fairly nice. There's another one coming out of the sky being offered, and he's looking at it, but he's not really, but it's more of a sense of contemplation. Do I really want to take this? Cups are governed by the element of water, so they represent in the tarot things that we're more emotionally connected with, our emotional landscape. Sometimes the area of our life, of course, it deals with relationships. So the Four of Cups, it sometimes can represent not feeling gratitude for what you have or what's being offered in front of you, but it can sometimes represent being presented with an offer or an opportunity of some kind, but kind of holding back on accepting it because maybe it's not exactly what you want it to be. And it's clarified by the Hanging Man, Major Arcana card, which can represent feeling like you're in a bit of stasis or limbo, but you're actually gaining perspective and wisdom in this position because you're seeing things from a different viewpoint. It is a card that can represent not taking action yet because you're watching something play out still. You're watching, you're waiting. During that time, you're perhaps picking up more news, more information, gaining some perspective, some wisdom while you're considering something. It really does feel like there's something on offer or something that's going to be on offer to you during the first half of April. But for some reason, this combination of cards, I'm getting this sense of, heaviness, and I've been in this for so long and I'm not really getting where I wanted to go. And there's something else on offer and I'm looking at it and I'm considering it, but I'm not reaching out to take it. I'm not really sure. And it's only a 4 too. If this were a relationship, it looks like one that you've been in for quite some time. So if what you're being offered is a 4, why a 4? Or if this is a job, whatever situation this is, because it's going to vary in general readings. The 10 of Wands implies you've been in it for quite some time, whether it's a romantic relationship, some other kind of relationship, a work situation, a project, something. Wands are a card of action and forward movement. So when the suit starts out, you have this idea and you're full of passion and excitement and you're ready to kind of move forward. And here you just like what I wanted to build. I mean, it's all still on my back. I feel overwhelmed and tired. So there is a sense I'm getting, Leo, that whatever this situation is, you've been in it for quite some time, but what you're being offered is only a 4. Why is that? And that may be one of the reasons why there's still this sense of, I don't know. You should be offering me an 8 or a 9 or a 10, not a 4. It's kind of interesting. That's what I'm feeling. Let's see. Let's see what this contemplation energy is. This 4 of Cups and this Hanging Man. What is this about? What is being considered? That was too big of a clump of cards. We're going to put those back in. Okay, we have the Chariot. So whether to just take this and run with it, move forward with it. It's behind that, the 6 of Coins. So there is a gift, an offer. 2 aces right behind that, the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups. I mean, if this were a relationship, it's like, renewal, the beginning, passion, excitement. Here's the Lovers right behind it, needing to make a decision. But again, I mean, if this is a relationship or if this situation, whatever it is for you, if this situation, Well, I'm going to use a relationship as an example. If this is a relationship, it looks like one and feels like one that you've been invested in for quite some time, and you've put an awful lot into this, and you're at this place where you feel like you're getting nowhere, or you're not getting enough back. It looks like there's some kind of offer, perhaps from your partner. Again, you can apply this to any other situation. But the offer itself, they're about these aces and moving forward. And, the Lovers is making a decision either about a person you feel very connected to, passionate with about, or some other situation, or making a decision that's going to affect a relationship. Whether it's with a person or a situation you obviously have, at least in the past, felt very passionate about. And again, if this was something new, it looks really good. But if it was new, we wouldn't be seeing this Ten of Wands. So I feel like this is an already long existing thing that you've put a lot into, and what's being offered is, oh, let's start over again, or oh, we can have this, and let's go do this, and yeah, don't worry about that, whatever, but let's go do this. It's almost like the offer is an offer that doesn't have a lot of substance to it. It's more about, let me distract you, from not really offering something of long-term stability or substance by waving some kind of, new exciting thing in front of you, or passion, or, let's go away for a weekend, or, it just feels kind of shallow to me. I'm going to clarify what's really behind this offer, what's really behind these aces. Do they really have the potential? Because when we start with aces, we want them to go to fulfillment. We want them to go to a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10. We want them to go to fulfillment, especially this, Ace of Cups, because that ends with the 10 of Cups, which is the happy home card. What potential do they really hold? This offer, this opportunity. I don't usually clarify this much in generals, but I'm very intrigued. So the real substance behind this offer, behind these aces and this chariot, let's go away for a trip, or yeah, I know we have all these problems, but let's go away for a trip and forget about it for a bit. So the real substance behind it is the Four of Coins. Coins are all about how stable and safe and secure we feel in the physical structure of our day-to-day life. So coins often represent money, finance, property, real estate assets, job, long-term relationships. They represent the things that, or the efforts we put into acquiring and maintain things that give us that sense of stability and structure and solidity in our day-to-day life. The Four of Coins is sometimes called the miser card. If it was money, it would be about hoarding money, needing to be careful with money, wanting to hold on to what you have. In an emotional sense, it can represent being closed off, being guarded, being self-oriented in a way, holding on to what you have and not being willing to share or let go of that. And this is showing up as the substance of what is actually being offered, the real substance behind what is actually being offered, which is interesting because what is being offered here is the Four of Cups, and the real substance of it is the Four of Coins. So it's not nothing. I mean, he does already have these 3 cups here next to him, but it doesn't look like it's going to go much further. It doesn't look like the offer itself has any real long lasting substance. It's kind of like being in a relationship for, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 8 years. And it's just a continual dating sort of thing. You're wanting something more and they just want to keep it at a certain level. And every time you kind of maybe say, but I'm wanting something deeper, something more lasting, something more committed, they're like, yeah, but here, what about these aces? And, it just feels like it doesn't have a whole lot of substance. So I don't know how many people this is going to resonate with, but it feels very kind of specific around this. It could be in a love romance relationship. It could be in some other kind of relationship. It could be in a work situation. I mean, those of you who are watching, for whom it applies to you, And again, we have this 3 of Cups as the overall energy. So you may be enjoying yourself, kind of on the surface. You may be enjoying yourself with this person, you know, because it feels like you've said, look, I'm feeling all of this, and they're throwing you a bone, but that's about it. The Three of Cups as advice, too, can also represent, perhaps you've been isolating quite a bit, having all of this stuff in your head. You need to go out and just go out and have some fun, kind of let it go for a bit. This is also about friends who care about you and being around them and your social community and all of that kind of stuff, too. Advice and guidance for Leo on how best to navigate through this, at least for the first half of April. All these cards. I don't usually pull this many cards for the general. Okay. Ooh. Advice is the Tower. The Tower is a card that represents a big shakeup, a life-changing event, typically that brings something crashing down because it's not stable in the first place and it needs to end. Something needs to be broken down so that something else can be truly rebuilt. At the very least, it represents complete and utter transformation, but the Tower represents something that needs to end so that something else can be in its place. But this is advice from Tarot. This is advice from Spirit. Let's clarify that. Why is the Tower advice? Why does this need to come crashing down? Which would imply, if this is a relationship, it would imply a really drastic ultimatum. Look, if this is all you're offering, I'm leaving. I'm leaving it all behind. I'm burning it to the ground and I'm leaving. Or if it was a job, it would be that too, just kind of walking out. But the Tower is very dramatic. Why the Tower? The Eight of Wands, so that you can move forward in a very powerful, decisive, assertive way. Right behind it is the King of Coins. Now, this is someone who would offer something of long-lasting substance. The King of Coins is the master of the suit of coins. He's the master of, of earth, of everything in the physical structure of the world. This is someone who is, reached the top of long-term stability, money, finance, property, sincerity, loyalty, all of that. This is a person who has the epitome of stability and substance and continuity in his life. It could be an actual person or somebody like this person. I think if this is a romantic relationship for some of you, this person, it's just fours. It's the Four of Cups. It's the Four of Coins. Here we have the King of Coins. He's going to offer a whole lot more than that. And I don't just mean in a financial and material sense. This is about safety, stability, continuity, reliability. So it's about, bringing something crashing down so that you can move towards what you want, something that is really lasting and solid and stable. Right behind that, we have faith, which is the Hierophant, convention, tradition, taking something to a deeper level of commitment and responsibility. The Four of Wands, celebration, family, friends, one of those happy home, stable home, marriage cards. And faith, the Hierophant can be as well. So if this is a romantic relationship, you're being called to break something down so that you can be and do it in a very assertive, aggressive way so that you can move towards the true stability and security that you want, the true sense of long-lasting harmony, long-lasting balance, what will make you feel. I mean, when you apply this to the situation in your life, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a work career relationship, what you've been getting and what you have been getting, it looks like it's enough to keep you alive, but you're constantly hungry, whether it's work, whether it's love, whatever. And every time you kind of bring it up and bringing it up now, it's like they offer you the promise of something or they throw something your way, like a little bonus or a trip or, something of that sort. But that's all it is. It doesn't really have any long-lasting substance to it, especially when you look forward in the future. And you're being called to go, okay, I'm just going to end this. I'm going to burn it right down to the ground if you can't, because what I want is to move towards all of these cards these, because you're being asked to move towards what you want, what you need, what you want, what you deserve. These are all cards that represent stability, happy home, convention, tradition, taking things to the next level. A true, again, if it's love, leaving someone who's not really offering much more than a perpetual dating situation for the rest of your life versus someone who really wants to have a home and a life and a that whole kind of Ten of Cups happy home with you. Or you can also apply this to a work or job situation or partnership as well too. I mean, we do have the Lovers, which implies that maybe for some of you or many of you, it might be about that relationship itself. I mean, we're in relationship with everything, whether it's with our job or our spouse or home or whatever. So there should always be a healthy give and take here, and it doesn't feel like there is here. It feels like you've been giving a whole lot more than you've been getting back in return, and it's time to burn that modality right down to the ground, uh, very assertively and very aggressively. It could be just leaving and walking away if you really feel like it's just not going to work. Maybe making a very drastic kind of ultimatum and being willing to back it up like tomorrow. So really interesting reading, Leo. So Leo, that is your reading for the first half of April, kind of an intense one. Let me know for those of you for whom it resonated. Again, if this resonated with you or if any of the videos do and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, you can click on the description link below for more info, contact details. Just click on that little arrow. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the April mid-month readings for 2020. Until then, as always, I wish you much love, joy, and strength, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care.